Hello everyone and welcome to our studios in Rotterdam. As you can see, we have a guest for today. It is Remco Ton. He is Business Development Manager at Praxas. Hello Remco, welcome.
Hello Nikos, thank you for the invitation.
It's my pleasure to have you here. We're going to talk about waste in the supply chain today, right?
Yeah.
So let's start first with a short introduction of what you do.
Yeah, my name is Remco. I'm working for Praxas as Business Development Manager now for 4 months. Before this, I worked for 15 years in logistics with companies like DPD and DHL for air freight and road freight. Praxas is a company that's reducing waste in the supply chain. And we are doing this now for over 20 years. And I think we monitor 400,000 shipments in all those 20 years, and we project 2 million shipments. So
2 million.
That's a lot.
So, reducing waste in the supply chain.
Yeah.
How do you define waste? What does it mean?
We define waste of goods during transport or storage. That's waste for us. What we see is that every year billions of dollars are damaged during transport within the totally supply chain. So if I have to mention, define waste in the supply chain, that are for us products that not arrive at the final destination, and also cannot be sold anymore. So that's for us waste in.
Okay, and is it about only about financial losses, or is it about sustainability as well?
Both. That's why our solutions are so great, of course. What I see is that most companies are telling me, but Remco, we have a good insurance when something is damaged. But when we look at waste of goods, I always tell them, what about the time that you need? That you need when you have to handle all those claims that you get, the time that you need to invest in new products and invest in new transports. And what about the price of losing all your valuable customer relationships? So it's financial and also sustainable, of course.
And from what I understand now that you describe it like this, it's not only about reducing waste, but it's also about making the whole supply chain more efficient, right? Yeah. Like you save a lot of time with handling and arranging new transport.
When you do it the first time right, you save a lot of time.
Okay.
It's better for your footprint, of course. It's better for the environment. It's also better for the financial part, of course. Yeah.
And you are active in all modes of transport, right? Sea, air, and rail.
And road.
And road, okay. Yeah. Which sector produces more waste, if I may ask?
That will be sea transport. What we see in the last couple of years, when
accidents,
when COVID came up, there are coming longer transit times and during sea transport. And when you have longer transport times, the chance that there will be a waste is bigger than before that. So I think it will be sea, but also rail. Yeah.
So rail is among the first in terms of waste, right?
Sea and rail. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
If I have to mention two.
Yeah, of course. And I wanted to ask basically, because we talked about the waste, but let's talk a bit about the products. Yeah. I failed to mention before. What kind of products do you focus on? Is it fresh products or like
everything?
Everything.
Everything.
Like electronics as well? Electronics,
food. We also do a lot for the pharmacy sector, alcohol sector, all kind of products.
All kind of products that need monitoring during transport, right? Yeah. Okay, that's clear, that's clear.
Or need to have a stable climate during transport.
Okay, yes. And what means do you have to reduce waste then?
We have a lot. When we look at the rail and the sea freight, we have our Praxas container pack, as you can see here on the table.
Yes, that's a very nice container actually.
Yeah, very nice container. This what you see here is the container liner. This is the liner that you put into your container. In the container you see pallets. You put distance on the pallets for transport. And we have 2 data recorders in the container to monitor the temperature and humidity during transport. That's called our Praxas container pack, to keep the environment stable within the container. And it's a very good alternative instead of a reefer, and much cheaper.
What does it make a good alternative to a reefer? What is different about this solution? The added value that it brings?
Yeah, now the added value is the price, of course. For example, when you have to pay a reefer container, you pay much more than you use a dry container with a container liner. So that's much cheaper.
Okay, so it's a matter of price, but in practice, does it have like is it safer, let's say, or does it work like a reefer container but cheaper?
No, it's not It's not better than a reefer container, because in the reefer container the climate always stays stable. But what I can say with the customers where we cooperate with is that they never had complaints about our container pack. The climate stays stable. We also have data for that during transport, so that's good.
And a happy customer means like a successful
happy
solution.
Customer, of course, that's the most important thing.
Okay.
And it's also easy to install. Within 15 minutes you install the container liner.
All right.
So it's
easy to assemble and disassemble as well, right? I think this is something important when it comes to setting up a train, or like setting up the equipment on a sea vessel or something. Okay. Let's get back to the rail freight sector. You mentioned that rail is, with sea, one of the biggest waste producers in the transport sector and the supply chain. Why is that, do you think? What's wrong in rail and produces so much waste?
It's not only the rail sector, it's the whole sector. When we talk about rail, sea, air and road. The most companies say we have a good insurance, so that's it. But especially the rail and sea sector have to think about what are the consequences when the products are not coming to the customers. It's bad for the environment. You have a lot of handling. And it's also not good for your environment, for your footprint.
Of course. And so you think it's a matter of wrong focus areas, because companies focus on the insurance, but they don't focus on the waste and on the consequences that the waste could have, right?
All companies know there is waste, but they are not aware about the impact.
Okay.
The impact is so big about your whole supply chain. You have to order new products. You have to do the handling. It's not good for the environment. You have your financial loss.
Yes, of course.
So companies know there is waste, but they are not aware of the impact.
Okay. Okay. Yes, you cooperate with rail logistic companies, right? And is it about short distances, long distances? Both. You mentioned something about China before, right? As well.
We work with a company in Tilburg that has a rail connection with China. They use our container liner for some customers of them, but they also use our real-time track and trace solution. That is a solution that you put into the container, and where you can see, where you can monitor your shipment from A to B. The data that you get is of course the temperature, humidity, but also shock. When for example, a package falls off a pallet. But also lighting fall, and that's for a couple of sectors very important. When you look, for example, to the chemical sector, you need to know what information you need to monitor your shipments
precisely.
And you need to know when something is going wrong. You have to act on it. So that's what we use for the rail freight, but also desiccants. That is also a product that we use.
Okay, and in the industry we see a lot of hype many times when it comes to fresh produced trains. trains transporting fresh fruits or vegetables, etc., etc. So how close are they to meeting the requirements of creating an efficient supply chain? And what should they do to meet these requirements?
Yeah, it's different per product. You need to do something, banana, for example, a banana, you need to do something else for that instead of a tomato. So it's for every product it's different. Dus every time it's another another case. And we can help those customers with that.
Okay, so for each product there is a different case you mentioned, right? How easy it is to adapt your operations and your services to each different product? Does it require a big team of specialists, for instance, to know each product specifically?
Yeah, we have within Praxas we have specialists on every case, of course.
So food specialist,
pharma specialist, data recorder specialist, who are working now for mostly 15 or 20 years within Praxas. So they can help within every case.
Okay. Yeah. And what about data?
Yeah.
So what position do data have in your operations? How important are they, and how do you distribute them to your customers?
Yeah, data is very important, not only within Praxas, but in the whole world at this moment. What we do with the data recorders that we have, we send them to the customers. They put it on the start button, and then there is a platform where the customer can see what temperature the shipment has, what the humanity is, all that kind of things. Okay. They can put an alarm on it when something went wrong. Yeah. So that's all that data we are sharing this with our customers.
Can they also make a comparison between two different services to see what went wrong and what they can make better, for instance, in the future?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they can.
Okay, that's valuable, I think.
Yeah, that's very valuable. When you look at the container liner, we always put two data recorders in it. One in the front, one in the back. And then you have two different data that's coming on your platform.
Two different data sources. Okay.
And that's something where you can learn about it.
Okay. Great. Yeah. And I don't really know specifically how it works, but is there something like a seal that you put on the container, like a security seal that needs to be checked in border crossings, etc., or not?
No, that's not the things.
So there is no problem with checks when it comes to crossing, for instance, from Europe to Russia or from Russia to China. There are no extra checks that need to be taken, right?
No.
Okay. No. That's quite efficient.
What we do with customers that, for example, a ship from China by rail to Tilburg, for example, when we have the data recorder, we can put in the data recorder the days that the shipment has to be monitored, and at which point. There has to be an alarm. That are things that we are doing for a lot of customers.
All right. Yeah. What about dangerous goods, as we call them in rail freight, like chemicals, etc., etc.? Is the solution suitable for transport of such products?
Yeah. Okay. When you look at dangerous goods, the container liner is a perfect. The Praxas container pack is a perfect solution, but also the real-time checker that we have.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Now, if you could give an overview. I think I tried to ask this to you before, but now I think I have a more clear view. So can you provide an overview of what can rail freight companies do to provide wasteless operations? If you could define this in a few words.
It's what very important is talk to your customers, know exactly what products they are transporting. Trying to find the best solution for your customer, and add conservative products when needed, and do everything to get the product arrive at its destination. So do it the first time right.
Okay.
And it's not only for rail freight. That's
for the whole transport sector. But for RailFreight professionals specifically, if you could give like a tip, what would it be? And we can close with that. Like,
a little tip is, when you transport something that goes to China or have a long destination, always use a container liner, always use a data recorder, and always use desiccant. Yeah, that's the tip that I give.
Because are there still companies who don't use them? And
yeah,
like,
yeah,
okay.
A lot of companies don't use them because they are saying we have a good insurance, but they are not aware about the impact when something goes damaged. So a lot of companies don't use them, or maybe don't know if there is something like that.
Some kind of solution, yeah.
So, and therefore there is Praxas, of course, and we are happy to help those customers.
Yeah.
It's good for the environment. It's good for your footprint, and it's also good for the financial part.
Yes, of course, because we talk about rail being like the greener mode of transport compared to sea and air and road, of course. Yeah. But I think that from what you say now is it's crucial to raise more awareness to the sector, because the sector believes that it's green, but it's still not quite there, right? When you tell me that companies say, okay, we have an insurance, this means that they don't really focus on the product itself.
That's correct.
Okay.
And in the first part of the interview, there's $500 billion every year on waste in the totally supply chain. So that's really big.
So we can imagine how different the supply chain would be if companies manage to reduce it.
And all those companies also have their responsibility when we look at the environment, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Remco. It was a pleasure talking to you, and that you gave some insights on how to reduce waste on the supply chain. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome, Nikos, and thanks for the invitation.